The reason why the goals aren't sticking that you set yourself is a really simple fix. And I see this over and over again. I'm Dean DeLandro and I work with entrepreneurs, business owners, and ambitious professionals, helping them create a life led by design. And now what I see over and over again is people identifying what it is that they want to experience, but being met with some level of resistance when they begin to start taking action towards that major key objective. And we understand that there is a lot of information out there, so much. We're living in a time of pure information. And I know you probably heard this over and over again, that it's not about information, it's about implementation. But what does that actually mean? Like, how do you actually implement the information when there is so much? Like, what is the correct information? What is incorrect information? And what is the information that is going to have the highest value to getting you to where you want to be in the fastest time? Well, over the last 10 years, I have been relentlessly trying to identify exactly that, how to close the gap between where you are now and where you want to get to. And there's one thing that keeps coming up over and over again. And the only way that I can describe this is there is a large amount of people who are conscious about working on their physical body. Okay? How they eat, how they exercise, what their sleep and recovery schedules are like. And it's common knowledge now that by working on these areas, you will start to have more energy, more strength, and it can add a layer of motivation and determination towards your major key objective. And if we were just the physical body, that might be enough. But where there seems to be a disconnect is the other part of our being, which is our precious mind. And the physical body, what allows us to move through space and operate efficiently and effectively, is how we use our minds. And how much information is out there now about operating and optimizing our mindset? Well, there might be a self-help book here or podcast over there, some different techniques or tactics that you may have learned from an email or someone in the office. But the amount that people spend investing in optimizing their physical body, it doesn't translate to how much people are optimizing their mindset, creating systems, creating mindset models, optimizing the way that they look at problems, the way they evaluate tasks. If people had spent as much time optimizing their bodies as they have their minds, there would be a much more seamless flow towards the attainment of their major key objective. But this is where it starts getting really interesting, because what I've really noticed is going around asking hundreds of people now to this point, because I really wanted to get an understanding of this. But the other layer of our being that a lot of people seem to be neglecting is their emotional structure. And the way that I see it is we are threefold beings. We are physical, our tangible bodies. We have a mind, our operating system, and our emotional structure, which is the energy in which we use to either move towards things that we hope to experience and move away from things that we no longer want to experience. And when I asked this question to hundreds of people now, I seemed to always get a very vague response and answer in return. And the question is, what actually is an emotion? And taking that question and trying to understand what that means is quite a abstract and complex thought. But for sure, what I've come to realize is when we understand what an emotion actually is, where it stems from, what it's caused by, it can help add fuel in an incredible way to help us move towards the primary direction that we want to go. And it's, again, moving back to the body. People are spending more and more time thinking or actioning tasks and activities that help optimize their body. Even fewer people are doing things, tasks, activities to help optimize the mind, but very few people, and I'm talking maybe 1 or 2 people out of the 100 people that I've asked, are doing things to optimize or even understand their emotional structure and what emotions actually are and how they impact our life. And I think this is such a unique but strange area of thinking, because our emotions are a beautiful part of the human experience, our experience here on earth. And I always come back to the question of, okay, so if we understand what our emotions are, if we can cognitively make a blueprint or a framework so that we can understand what emotions are, will that limit or enhance our experience here on earth? Because by taking an emotion, which is a novel experience, without understanding behind it, it could be dictated by the weather, it could be dictated by a relationship, it could be dictated by something that happens at work or something in your social life. We might have an emotional oscillation from highs to lows. But if we were able to logically and clearly understand what those emotions actually are and where they come from and why they exist, will they enhance our experience, or will they make our experience worse? Because it could have the ability to diminish that emotional experience. If we understood it, whether it's guilt, fear, frustration, annoyance, anger, hate, if we understood that emotion, it might neutralize it to some degree because we understand why it's arising. But then the opposite of that is also true. So if we understood happiness, excitement, love, joy, bliss, harmony, gratitude, would it then act as a way to neutralize those experiences because we understand why they're arising in us? And after asking this question to hundreds of people, I came to the realization that it has the ability to enhance our experience. I'd be very interested to know what you think about this particular thought experiment. But over the last 5 years, moving from working with people in the physical, then working with people in mindset, and now working with people in emotions, what I've understood is those 3 areas are not 3 separate projects that we should be working on if and when we have a chance. It is one operating system. Those 3 components act as one operating system. But here's the beautiful thing. If we can get those 3 components to act in harmony with one another, the attainment of our key objective will become much easier, right? And if we take the body, if we don't have endurance, if we don't have strength, if we don't have mobility, and if we don't have the energy, then pursuing any major key goal in life is going to seem more challenging, right? And if we bring it to the layers of the mind, if we think about clarity, focus, dedication, the ability to say no to things that might pull us away from our pursuit of our key objective. Without those things working with us, the attainment of our primary objective can become very difficult too. But then adding the layer of the emotional structure. What is emotion? Well, if we get fearful, if we get distracted by chasing, dopamine rewards from other places, if we're not excited and grateful and moving in the direction of our goal with a high emotional state, those oscillations between excitement and fear, frustration and happiness, they also have the ability to add a layer of resistance towards us achieving our major key objective. So the goal from you watching this video is not to take any action, it's not to change anything, but it's just to become aware that our being is threefold nature. And if we are spending time optimizing the body, optimizing the mind, understanding and changing our emotional structure in line with the version of us that we want to envision in this space, the attainment of your major key objective will become easier. So I want you to think about these three different elements and really understand how much time do you work on each of those areas. Do you work on them at all? Do you just leave emotions to our experience and what's happening around us? Or do you actually take action to being able to understand and change them and our mindset? Is it something that just is and you're born with? Or do you actively try to implement frameworks that will help you attain the life that you want in a much easier way? So I'd be really keen to understand what your view is on these different areas. And please follow this page for more, because over the coming months, I'm going to release one video a week, and it's going to be on the area of either the physical body, the mind, the emotional structure, and I'll throw in some stories of how I work with clients as well, and so that you can see the real impact that bringing these layers of the being in harmony can have on attainment of your major key objective. So if you like this video, give it a like. If you found it valuable and allowed you to think in a little bit of a different way, please share it in case somebody else gets some value from it. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one.